All right, I think we're ready to get started for the deep dive. It's good to have the countdown on. It's the second week we've done that. Bennett's done a great job to get us set up and get everybody on as we start the deep dive. It's Monday the 22nd, and excited to be on this morning. You know, I always say we start the week this way, talking about the most important topics in real estate and giving you the perspective you need to guide your clients forward effectively. That's our goal every week here on the deep dive. We're going to be talking, if you saw the reel that we put out about this morning, we're going to be talking about migration trends and specifically what's driving those migration trends. Sarah Ward, I see you there. Yay for the countdown. Linda as well. Great to see everybody on. It's so good to see folks that join for the deep dive and to see people over and over. I never say that. I don't say that enough. Thank you for supporting what we do at Keeping Current Matters. So many members join. If you're not a member, I would encourage you to start a free trial to get the information you need to sort of talk about and be vocal about what's happening in the market right now. I'm kind of watching comments as I talk. Melissa, I see you. Love the countdown. Everybody, countdown's getting a lot of love this morning. It's so good to have everybody on. Liz, see you there in Miami. Grateful for you and thank you for all your help getting ready for that presentation. I want to say this. We start the deep dive in with the aim to sort of give you a perspective maybe that you can go throughout your week. And then at the end, I always wrap up and I give you the resources that you can share on the topic that we're talking about. And it'll be no different today. And with that sort of as a backdrop, I will go ahead and start the share the slides that we have here. Give me just a second. I'm going to share that. We'll talk about migration trends. I'm a little bit messed up here, but I will recover. All right, here we are. Hopefully you can see that on the screen. What is driving today's migration trends? I think this is a topic that you're going to find some very interesting information in, maybe even some things that you already knew, but I can give you a way to share it. And I'll show you that in just a minute, but let's hop in. Let's talk about this. Housing affordability has always mattered. You're seeing it across the country, and housing affordability is reshaping migration trends. So I want to pause right here for just a minute because, we've talked extensively on the deep dive. And, if you followed KCM, you're a KCM member, we've talked extensively about housing affordability. NAR says it's at the lowest point, really. It's been in the last 40 years. Certainly interest rates, mortgage rates have an effect on that. And we're seeing a little bit lower rate last week and this week, hopefully, than what we've seen in prior weeks. But housing affordability, no doubt, is challenged. Younger generations feel like, maybe they're missing out on the dream of home ownership. We've talked about that. But no doubt, this is reshaping migration trends across the country. Now here's where this gets interesting. I want to sort of go back to what we've always done foundationally as KCM and certainly champion for so many years, our founder, Steve Harney. Most agents know what's happening. And I would argue most agents know the reality that affordability is shaping migration trends. Good agents understand it and understand what's happening, but great agents can explain what's happening right now with affordability and migration trends. And I'm going to give you a few things that you can use right now to explain what's happening. Now, here's what's interesting. If you're not a KCM member, you can start a free trial today. Go grab these slides from the deep dive and start using them as you're explaining what's happening. I always talk about it. Great KCM agents load the slides on their phone or on their iPad so that they have them, right in front of them when they're talking to someone. But how do you explain this in today's market? Now, I'm going to give you a suggestion that this next slide is a great way to explain what's happening with migration trends. It's right here. According to this recent survey, 55% of American adults are looking to relocate to a different city or state for more affordable homes and lower cost of living. This is very interesting, right? Over half of adult Americans say, I would be willing to move to another town. I would be willing to move to another state to find something more affordable. I can tell you in my own life, I've had family members that have done that within the last year. And said, you know what, we're going to get out of this market. It's a little bit higher cost market, and we're going to move to a market that's more affordable. Now, there's two things that I think are really, really important about this. First, if you're somebody that you may be a first-time home buyer, you haven't purchased a home yet, then you go, you know what, this is where I want to, sort of go with my life, and I believe I can achieve the American dream and buy a home moving to this town. And certainly it's got to work with your family and your work and your job. And we're going to talk all about all that in just a minute. But also, here's another factor. If you own a home in a high cost market, you likely have an enormous amount of equity that you can leverage moving to a low cost market. That's an even better thing, right? If I can sell my home in a market that maybe is a little bit more expensive than where I'm going, then I have more bang for my buck. United Van Lines tracks all of this. Where are people moving? And they went on to say this: we're continuing to see that the trend that Americans are moving to more affordable, lower density areas across the country, with many of them heading to southern states. Relocation continues to be driven by factors such as price of housing, regional climate, urban planning, and job growth. So really, if you say, okay, where are people moving? You can see here's the graphic from that study across the country, maybe more of a prevalence of people heading into southern states for a number of different reasons. But one of the big drivers is that they see that as a more affordable option for them to move in. There's other considerations that go in there, but you see sort of that band. There's also other states that are outbound. You can see in one of the darker, more yellow orange colors, and the inbound states in more the navyish and blue colors. But paying attention to this with people that are thinking about buying right now, I think is important. I think talking about some of the migration trends right now as the educator in your market is critically important. I was talking this morning, coming up 17th of next month, NAR settlement takes effect. Being the educator right now, I would argue, is more important than ever. More important than ever that we're out and visible talking about what's happening in this market. And this is exactly what we need to be sharing with people. This is the reason people are making decisions to move right now. Many U.S. states saw significant growth throughout 2023 and even early 2024 so far. Specifically, states with a strong economy, lower cost of living, and remote work options continue to be the ideal places to live in the U.S. Again, we're seeing the costs coming up, but now we're talking about remote work. I'll tell you, when I went over this information with our team last week, our phenomenal KCM research team that finds great information to share with you, I was like, let's talk about, the remote work piece. I'm not sure where that's at. And there's some interesting information here that I'll share with you that was found. Hoover Institute, the pandemic catalyzed a big shift to work from home, and for many workers, a large increase in how far they live from their employers. We know that certainly the pandemic, COVID, changed a lot of things. One of those things was remote work. Goes on to say the mean distance, this is interesting, from employee residence to their employer location rose from 10 to 27 miles from 2019 to 2023. Let me back up and say that again. Rose from 10 to 27 miles from 2019 to 2023. That's amazing. And the share of workers living more than 50 miles from their employers jumped more than fivefold, from 0.8% to 5.5%. Now, this trend of remote, and I'm even going to say hybrid work, has been growing. And I even wondered, kind of coming out of COVID, getting back in the office and in operating there is what we hear a lot of talk about. But where is it at right now? There's a study done by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's very, very interesting. This graphic right here goes back to October of 2022. Everybody, kind of coming out of the pandemic wave, but really, even over the last couple of years, remote and hybrid work has continued to grow. Now, what does that mean for people? Again, I think most people know if you're not going to be in the office, most days or every day, you're willing to live a little bit further away, right? I can lengthen my commute if I don't have to do it every single day. And we'll show what folks are doing right now. And I think most workers are in the hybrid category versus solely remote, but it's very interesting. The office, the hybrid work environment has become more and more prevalent in recent years, thanks to the creation of tools for remote communications, like even what we're on right here on Zoom. And I know people watch, Facebook Live and YouTube and other places, but we're able to broadcast ourselves. We're able to use tools to be able to communicate more effectively. Where people are working still, the majority of people, 60% are on site. The balance, call it 40%, are either hybrid or remote workers. That number continues to grow. The majority of those being hybrid, you see there in the blue, that gives people more of an option. And that probably is a great way to start with potential buyers today is, what is your work situation? Do you have a hybrid option? Do you have a remote option? Are you on site? That's going to influence how people make decisions right now to buy a home in their commute. It may even be something that they're not considering as much as they could. If I have a budget that prevents me from living where I want to live, I may have an opportunity to do something different. Hybrid work, I think here, the biggest slice of the 40% that we talked about is broken down by how often are people in the office. The majority of hybrid workers are in the office 3 to 4 days a week. You see some 1 day, some 2 days, but the majority 3 to 4 days a week. And I certainly think that going forward is going to be something that is going to continue. And even I'll show you a couple of studies here in a second that say that's going to grow, giving people more options for their housing. U.S. Career Institute said it's been predicted that by the end of 2025, up to 14% of the adult population in the U.S. will have remote work from home jobs. This will result in a 5-fold increase since before the pandemic, when just 7 million Americans were working from home. I think this trend is going to continue to happen and going to continue to grow. It's certainly supported by a lot of those that watch this this remote work sort of trend grow. Kumo Space here, unmistakably, remote work has become a permanent feature in our work culture. By 2025, it's projected that 36.2 million Americans will be working remotely, a staggering increase from pre-pandemic levels. This growing trend is also reflected in the fact that 85% of managers believe that remote work teams will become the new norm. Now, I will say in this graphic, remote work includes hybrid work. I don't think it's all going to be remote work, but hybrid work gives people more options for what they want to do. I'm watching comments. Fred, you say you're working from home this morning. Certainly, that's an advantage we have in today's culture, is we can get done what we need to get done, whether we're in the office or wherever we are, at home. And I think most people want in that flexibility. It's certainly what we have here at KCM. So I think taking all of this into consideration and being the educator about what trends are driving migration will start conversations in the market. We always want to give you the tools and the resources to help be the knowledge broker, be the educator, really, for everybody that you serve. Even today's blog is about affordability, how it's shaping where people live, what we're talking about right now. You can share that blog, share social posts that we have available to you, real talk scripts that help you put yourself on video and share this message are what we want to give you. As always, on the deep dive here, so grateful for everybody that joins, so that we can start the week off talking about what's most important in real estate. And I hope you'll take this message. I hope you'll take it and share it with people, that it may open up their minds about where they could live and where they could buy a home in the coming year. We'll be back again next week talking about home prices and what's really going on with them. There's a lot of talk about prices right now in the market. So we're going to get you up to date on the deep dive next week, talking all about prices. Hope you have a great Monday, a great rest of this week, and we will see you back again next week. Take care.